The nation's political season enters its business end with Osun off-season governorship election taking center stage. Disputes over candidates' names forwarded by political parties to INEC rumble on. Also on Political Update today, party politics, elections and the valley of uncertainty. Plus, Supreme Court strikes out suits challenging Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act. We have these and other stories on Political Update today. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Sit back, relax. We're ready for you. Nigeria and United Kingdom have resolved to build and reinforce existing cooperation in highly beneficial relations between the two countries, especially in the areas of security and trade. This was when President Muhammadu Buhari engaged British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on the margins of the 26th Commonwealth Heads of State and Governments meeting in Kigali, Rwanda.
During the high-level talks, both President Muhammadu Buhari and Prime Minister Boris Johnson harped on what they described as strong attachment and massive partnership between Nigeria and the United Kingdom, which must be deepened and expanded going forward.
An area that was also identified was in the area of clean energy. And, Mr. President talks about the Great Green Wall and the efforts that we are making in Nigeria to fight desertification and also, climate change. And the UK Prime Minister talked about some British energy companies, clean energy companies, that also want to come and invest in Nigeria. So it was really about, economic and technical cooperation.
Discussions also centered on the leader of the proscribed indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, now facing trial in Nigeria.
It was in respect of, access to his lawyers, especially in private. They were not sure where, but I think maybe that somebody might have reported to them that there was some issue there, which is unknown to the authorities.
President Buhari dispelled such insinuation, saying the detained separatist leader is being given every opportunity under the law to justify all the uncomplimentary things he had been saying against Nigeria in Britain. Nnamdi Kanu, he said, jumped bail before, and there are no assurances that he won't do it again if admitted to bail. The president used the opportunity to once again reiterate his resolve to respect the maximum term limit in the Nigerian Constitution.
Back home and in the wake of the Ekiti governorship election, the Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC to evaluate its performance in the June 18 Ekiti governorship election with a view to improving in the forthcoming Osun State governorship election.
With the June 18 Ekiti governorship election over, IPAC is of the opinion that some of the flaws noticed in the poll, ranging from alleged vote trading, voter apathy, as well as electronic hitches, can all be addressed and improved upon in subsequent elections.
Election is the beauty of democracy. The ballot is sacrosanct and should not be traded on for any reason or for no reason whatsoever.
The need for the National Assembly to expedite action on the Electoral Offences Commission Bill and presidential assent to it before the 2023 general election is observed by IPAC to be a necessary tool towards improving on the nation's electoral process.
Council urges aggrieved candidates and their political parties to approach the Ekiti State governorship election petition tribunal for redress and never resort to self-help, as we collectively should consolidate our emerging democracy.
Arrest and prosecution of electoral offenders are considered by IPAC as the way to go towards restoring sanity in the nation's democratic journey.
And still on Ekiti, the Social Democratic Party SDP says it will approach the court of law to challenge the process and outcome of the June 18, 2022 governorship election in that state.
Like in every contest, the Ekiti state governorship election has come and gone with the winner and losers. While some of the losers have accepted the outcome, the Social Democratic Party, which came second, is contesting the result. The party alleges vote buying as a reason that caused its candidate at the polls and wants perpetrators to be prosecuted.
So the election of Ekiti is unacceptable. It will not be acceptable. We will challenge it from bottom to top. Up to the Supreme Court, we will challenge it. And we are putting our facts together.
This country belongs to us all. And we should do everything to rescue it from the hands of desperate people who will do anything, stop at nothing, to rip it off for personal gains.
XDP acknowledged INEC for an improved electoral process, but feels intensified voter education campaign is needed to end the violation of electoral process, especially vote buying. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abdullahi Adamu, says the party, its presidential standard bearer and stakeholders are making concerted efforts to produce a worthy vice presidential candidate for the party. He spoke about these and other issues exclusively to NTA's correspondent Saliu Guanara.
It is 3 months since the former Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Adamu took charge of the affairs of the governing party, the All Progressives Congress. His team is in the saddle of the ruling party as the nation prepares for another general election. Conscious of this, the National Executive Committee is giving the team its full support to ensure a smooth running administration.
And the party is standing shoulder to shoulder with him in what he is trying to do to arrive at some kind of consensus pass that will be acceptable by the united leadership of the party and the population of the party. And we only plead for our lovers, for the lovers of our party, to exercise some more patience and wait for the unveiling of the vice presidential candidate of the APC.
On the knotty issue from Yobe North, he said Senate President Ahmad Lawan has enjoyed the mandate of his people as a senatorial candidate through a process the party supervised.
Yes, he contested for the president, and there's no law that says because he contested the president, he cannot, if there is a window, contest for any other office. The Constitution allows him to do so. The Electoral Act allows him to do so.
As party members get ready for the hard push to get their platforms in good form ahead of the 2023 general elections, there seems to be some key questions of party cohesion and due process still to answer. Honorable Sam Onuigbo, member representing Ekwano, Umaya North, Umaya South Federal Constituency of Abia, joins us today. Let me start from the chairman. The process is still rumbling on, push and shove concerning whose name should be where. What is the status concerning yours as dust settled on the Abia Central election on your party's platform?
I believe so, because INEC has issued a certified true copy of the result to me, which is a legally admissible document that you are the candidate, the only candidate of the election. As a matter of fact, the individual that they wanted to drop from the sky to become a candidate did not participate in the process in any way. So I do not have any doubts whatsoever that our party will do the right thing by ensuring that they correct whatever mistake that was made. I want to regard it as a mistake, because you do not look at something that is clearly, manifestly illegal and then plunge into it, because it has the potential to bring disrepute to the organization. So I'm very, very certain.
In terms of internal party, resolutions, have you exhausted it? Are you still on?
Yes, I've written to them, and I gave them time within which to correct that, because it's a simple thing. I did right. And one is hoping that they'll be able to do that.
Looking at all these processes, intra-party and inter-party before now and 2023, could it, because of some of the crossfire we've seen, the contestations, could it in a way affect, governance? Because the way it is now, especially at the state level, moving to the federal, we seem to be captivated by what is happening in the political terrain as against the governance itself.
Well, I'll tell you something. By the special grace of God, I was a member of the Joint Technical Committee on Electoral Matters, Joint Committee of the Senate and the House. I represented the Southeast. And I know that prior to creating the Joint Technical Committee or forming the Joint Technical Committee, we had the opportunity of having a retreat with the National Chairman of INEC in Lagos. And one of the issues he raised, I think I have said that on one or two programs, was that we should look at the way political parties do their primaries in the past, that improper conduct of primaries led to avoidable litigations. He actually was concerned about the fact that in 2019 they had over 809 pre-election cases, which for waste of resources, distraction, and the uncertainty.
With lawyers smiling to the bank.
Well, maybe. But the issue is, how do you do an election that is credible? How do you do an election with some measure of certainty? Because why he was concerned is because in some cases, some people who are not truly candidates, just like we are almost witnessing, went out there, contested. At the end of the day, they were taken out by the court. So that's a waste of time, distraction. And again, sometimes you print the ballot papers and they say, no, this person is not supposed to be on the ballot, or this party did not qualify to be on the ballot. So it is in a bid to eliminate all those things that we, working from that retreat to the Joint Technical Committee, where INEC was represented alongside the Ministry of Justice, the civil society, and of course the National Assembly as a whole, that we looked at all those little loopholes and tried to block them. And that's why you have Section 29, you have Section 31, you have Section 33, and of course Section 84, subsection 1 and subsection 13, closing up on all this is that you cannot become a candidate unless you participate in a primary election that was monitored by INEC. We enhance their powers to be able to reduce, some kind of political brigandage or political gangsterism.
All right, let's move on. We'll come back to you very shortly. But the Action Democratic Party (ADP) has unveiled Pastor Udo Oke, National Treasurer of the party, as the presidential running mate to Malam Yabagisani Yusuf of that party.
The choice of Pastor Oke Udo as the party's running mate in the 2023 presidential election was based on the desire to enhance prospects of the Action Democratic Party at the polls from among the many eminently qualified members of the party. Pastor Oke Udo was unanimously chosen by all in the selection panel in recognition of his outstanding qualities, which include a track record of dedicated and selfless commitment to the party over the years. Yabagi Sani is the presidential candidate of the party.
Pastor Oke Udo was also selected to go on the presidential ticket in recognition of his demonstrated attributes of patriotism and nationalist outlook, in line with the vision and mission of the ADP of having a united and a vibrant Nigeria built on the pillars of democracy, equity, and equality.
As the national treasurer of ADP, Oke is seen as possessing uncommon traits of prudence, probity, and honesty in the management of the finances and other assets.
The task ahead is way beyond the capacity, abilities, and wisdom of any one individual. All hands must be on deck, even as I reaffirm my dedication to the cause of our great party.
Action Democratic Party is calling on relevant players to brace up for the 2023 elections, bearing in mind all the Ekiti experiences.
Moving back to Osun, the All Progressives Congress has inaugurated its Osun Governorship Campaign Council in a bid to retain power in that southwestern state.
The block vote pulled by the APC in the recently conducted Ekiti governorship poll is inspiring more winning strategy to maintain dominance in Osun. The 84-member governorship campaign council, spearheaded by the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is aware of the task ahead with unshakable commitment to deliver Governor Boyega Oyetola.
I urge you to leave no stone unturned. I urge you to go there and do whatever is doable within the laws of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the electoral laws to win. My tolerance level and this National Working Committee's tolerance level for failure is really zero.
We want to assure you this election is a task that must be done within the processes of democracy and also within legal procedures.
As the council swings into action in the coming days, the riot act of surmounting obstacles as the party faces the Herculean task is non-negotiable, says the national chairman, Senator Abdullahi Adamu.
Thank you very much, Abubakar Usman Akwanga, with that report. Honorable Simon Igbo is still here with us. Yeah. It seems to me as if, okay, we are facing Osun elections in the next 3 weeks, and then from there is the home run to the general elections. Talking about the main elections, it's a home run to the general elections next year. Yeah. It seems as if parties, especially the big ones, of which you are one, bogs down the electoral management body with intra-party shenanigans that we continue to see, show of power and bending the rules and all that under the new Electoral Act. The INEC and even on the Constitution, the INEC has been empowered in some ways to perhaps bring the hammer down on you people.
Well, that's very true. I was talking about our experience with the national chairman and his speech, which I still have a copy of. That is to say, make election to be credible. Remove those things that have the potential to distract, to distort, and to create doubts in the minds of the electorate. So what we have achieved is that we've now first we had to repeal Electoral Act this, amendment this, and we came up with Electoral Act 2022 to take away all those problems. And like I mentioned earlier, if you take time and read those sections, beginning from particularly sections 29, 31, 33, that talks about whether you are withdrawing, you are substituting, and then you talk about section 84, where 84.1, where it says that a political party seeking to nominate a candidate shall conduct primary elections for all elective positions, and such primary election shall be monitored by INEC or by the commission. So what that means is that it's no longer a case of, okay, a political party can wake up, stay in Abuja, and nominate Okeke, Babatunde, and Ibrahim and say, we've made them candidates. The people, why do we talk about power belonging to the people? If you have to sit down in Abuja and handpick those, you have to go out there, participate in it, and have the people make their own contribution. That this is the person who would like to stand up for us and compete with people coming from the other parties. So that's the essence. We have enhanced, through this Electoral Act 2022, we've enhanced the powers of INEC. And it's up to them to use it, and I'm sure that they will use it very well, because if they create an opening, then what's the sense of going to do primaries? Authorities or people who have been put in position to be party administrators, they can also stay in Abuja and pick whoever. You don't have to do.
All right, before I let you go, just of course, one of the main issues now is that the Supreme Court has struck out the suit challenging the constitutionality of Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022. In a unanimous judgment, the 7-man panel of justices led by Justice Muhammad Musa Datijo averred that having participated in the process of the enactment of the Electoral Act 2022, President Muhammadu Buhari and the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, cannot invoke any court process against the act. The judgment, prepared and read by Justice Emmanuel Agim, struck out the matter for lack of jurisdiction. The 7-man panel of justices also the suit as an abuse of court process. In the suit, President Muhammad Buhari and Attorney General of the Federation, Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, SAN, are the plaintiffs, while the National Assembly, Rivers State Government, and Rivers State House of Assembly are defendants. All right, before I let you go, Honorable Samuel Igbo, we just have about less than a year, even for the legislative calendar and all that. What are your short and long-term goals, very quickly, before you close shop in this stadium?
My goals have remained the same since I was elected. Right before I got elected, I said I was going to run on that acronym of EAR. That's I will remain effective, I remain accessible to those who have used the power of the terms to elevate me to a position, and I will also remain responsive, and I will attempt at every point to redefine representation in a very positive way. Those have remained my goals, and I've been executing them in such a way that my accomplishments are out there and they are verifiable. Beginning from, if I want to talk about the Umahikwane-Kotebedi Federal Road, which the federal government is now reconstructing. The road had been in a terrible state for decades until I came. And that is one. And then I also recall that this government was able to do some critical, massive erosion control projects that I facilitated, 2 of them, all in my federal constituency. And have been able to do several, empowerment projects, such that people who were beneficiaries are today self-employed. These things give me joy. And by His grace, I was able to sponsor the climate change bill, which was assented to by Mr. President, and it has now become the Climate Change Act. He assented to it November 17, 2021. So for me, representation means use the power that they have given you to impact positively, meaningfully, and productively on the well-being of your constituents.
Thank you, Honorable, and for the NTA, we use the confidence you have given us to keep you entertained and educated, and of course on political updates we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews and interviews, and the Nigerian Television Authority, where you can never beat the reach. We continue to give you the very best of political news, and we will be in Osun to give you live and direct proceedings from there and what the people are saying. We say use your fist, use your tongue, not your fist this time. Make sure that you're a part of the process, get your privileges and be part of it. But don't forget to play your politics for the greater good. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. My name is Cesar Gunfi. Peace out.